Well. Sing, Kurt. Sing, Kurt. Sing. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Yeah. Kurt still got it. In spite of everything, he still got it. He's still a man of God. Hey, it is what it is. My name is Portia Wheatley. I am the founder and the president of a nonprofit organization acknowledged as Trophy of Life Incorporated, and we have the great pleasure of rendering hope, encouragement, and inspiration. And we just want to welcome you to Project 365, where we're giving and rendering and bringing to you hope, encouragement, and inspiration. Well, today is the voice of the next generation. And I'm going to back out and they're going to come forward. So let's bring in my co-host.
Hey guys, my name is Takara Swan. Happy Saturday. I am so happy to be here. And Saturdays are one of my favorite days, not just because you get a break, but because of our broadcast, the voice of the next generation. So I have beautiful Erin here, and she's going to introduce our guest. You guys are in for a treat.
Hi, everyone. Again, hopefully everyone is having an awesome Saturday. It's so beautiful outside. But yeah, here to introduce our guest, Azariah McLymore. She was born and raised in New York, and she received her bachelor's degree in psychology. Currently, she is studying law at North Carolina Central University, woo woo, and she hopes to put both avenues together so that she could be an awesome, fantastic criminal defense attorney with the focus of juvenile support and education advocacy. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and render our platform. Hi, how are you?
I am great. Thank you so much for the introduction. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm very excited today. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was just answering that straight question. I didn't even know to start. But I'm actually here today to discuss the importance of impact and paying it forward, but also to debunk the myth that my journey has been so easy. Because I've actually talked to so many people and they're like, oh, it must have been so easy for you to get into law school. And I'm like, where are you getting this information from? Because it's like, in a way, I used to see it as a compliment, but now it's more of people are undermining the struggle that I had to face just to get to where I am today. So I'm really excited to discuss everything that I've been through when it comes to my law school journey and, pretty much just how I got here today. So I guess to start, it was not easy for me. So I'm just going to straight off and say that it was not easy for me to get to where I am today. I applied to law school when I was 19 years old. So I'm currently 20 years old. And, just to say the good news, I did get into law school in the end, and I'm currently a North Carolina Central University School of Law student. But I applied to law school when I was 19 years old. I took the LSAT November of 2019, and I was really excited because I thought my personal statement was amazing. I got a 3.84 graduating with a degree in psychology from Brooklyn College. When I was in high school, I thought I was killing it. So I also graduated with a degree in cybersecurity when I was 18. Before I even graduated high school, I started this nonprofit where I really emphasize community involvement and enhancement and growth because that's just who I am. I love my community. I love supporting it in any way that I can. And I really thought that I was going to be like this amazing candidate for law school. I thought that everyone was going to pick me oh, yes. And that was not the case for me. And it was because of my LSAT score. So the LSAT is the law school admission test. And that is pretty much the general, it's similar to the SAT when you're going to get into your undergraduate institution. But of course, the LSAT is for law school. And like I said earlier, I took it in November of 2019. I walked into the test nervous, of course. This was literally going to determine, what schools I got into and if I got in with a scholarship and, a lot of different possibilities for me and within my my law school process and journey. And 2 months, or I believe it was 1 month later, I got the news that I got a 142 on the LSAT, and that was not good. It was not good at all, to be honest. And I was defeated at that moment because I knew that my options were going to be limited, but I decided within that moment that I wasn't going to retake the test. And I was thinking, you know what? Admissions are going to overlook this because I still excelled in every other aspect, at least in my opinion, within my application. So I was like, all right, you know what? I'm just going to push the LSAT to the side. There are other things that admissions are going to look at besides my LSAT score. And I was wrong again. I ended up getting 19 rejections from law schools, all within the span of 6 months. So the pandemic hit. I wasn't getting a yes from any of these schools. And it was extremely discouraging because the only thing that I've wanted to do since I found out about the possibility of becoming an attorney was to become an attorney. So I was thinking, well, what else am I supposed to do? Because the LSAT, it killed me. It literally defeated me within that time because I was like, I thought that I was going to have more options. I thought that I was going to excel. And also the pressure of everyone else telling me, you know what, you are a perfect candidate for law school, this. And I was like, well, why was everyone lying to me? One, but also I had to think deep, and I was just like, well, okay, well, what can I do to pretty much push myself onto the possibility of going to law school after literally facing 19 rejections, like straight for 6 months? You know, that was extremely discouraging and defeating. And I remember actually in January, after I had received at least like 5 rejections, my mom was throwing a vision board party, and the only thing that I literally was like sitting on at the table looking at this board, and I was like, I have nothing to say on here because my year had started off with like literally receiving rejections just straight. And the only thing I wanted to do was get an acceptance from law school. And it felt like this was like unattainable at this point. So I was talking to my mom and I was like, Mom, honestly, I am feeling horrible about myself, about life. I didn't know what to do. And this was literally 1 year ago. And I can't believe that I'm like the position that I'm in has completely shifted. So it's so beautiful to see and like to reflect back on this. But just to continue with this story, and she was just like, Zara, or my mom, she calls me Zara, baby girl. And she was like, Zara, you know what? Just write it down, continue to look at the goals and, try your best. And honestly, I did, but I honestly had lost all faith within myself and within this journey. And it took so long for me to get out of that. And the first like blink of hope was when I started getting waitlisted for schools. So that was, from getting a bunch of rejections to a waitlist, that was like, oh, I am in here. I am in here. And it was crazy because I had received 3 waitlists, one from UConn, one from Hofstra Law, and then from Howard. And Howard was one of my dream schools. So I was like, oh my God, like this is attainable for me at this point. And then 1 month later, I started receiving rejections from those waitlisted schools. So I was like, well, what am I supposed to do now? So I still had one school literally left to like hold on to, but the anxiety and the depression was getting me, oh, excuse me, my eyes like going crazy. I'm sorry. But the anxiety and the depression was getting me so bad that like I created an extra heartbeat within my heart. And I was just like, what's going on? Because I had to go to the doctor and I had to get put on a heart monitor just for them to like make sure that I was okay. Because literally all I could feel was my heart going like this all the time. And it felt like I was getting sick. And I was just like, oh no, like something's happening to me. So I was like, oh my gosh, like what's going on? Girl, it was anxiety. It wasn't even like a I'm not going to say that anxiety isn't, but it wasn't, I thought it was sickness. I thought it was like, oh, maybe I have like bronchitis, but also it was extra paranoia because COVID had just hit. So I was like, oh no, I got the COVID. I'm scared right now because it's like these rejections, the possibility of a sickness. It's too much right now. And my doctor told me I wasn't sick and that I needed to calm down and that it was anxiety. And I was like, I cannot believe that I had drove myself to that point to where I literally created an extra heartbeat. Like, didn't even think that was possible, one. But then two, the fact that I had put myself under so much pressure that I was literally in this like black hole for so long. And it was just so sad to see myself in this point. So then my mom, she helped me out. I'm sorry, give me 1 second because my eyes, I had like a weird eyelash just like go into my eye. I apologize for that. So pretty much my mom, she really did, and my dad, of course. My dad is always there for emotional support. There is literally no time that I don't feel like I can't talk to him about it. But it was really, I had this internal struggle because everyone was still trying to push me like, you know what, Azari, like you can do this, like keep fighting, keep fighting. And I didn't have any fight in me left. You know, like I had literally, it was back to back to back that I had kept seeing the answer of no to my dreams, like to my goals, to what I wanted to walk in this life and do, you know? So it's just like, whoa, I just, everyone telling me, keep fighting, keep fighting. It just wasn't fully working. And no matter how much like I felt, it's just like I didn't really know what to do. So my mom, she had put me on to yoga, and we started doing like the practicing of yoga together, and she actually got me this like certificate program. So now I'm officially a certified yoga teacher, and I actually got that during quarantine, so that was really cool. And it also distracted me from the fact that I had so much going on when it came to this big aspect of my life, but it allowed me to channel my energy into, you know, the breathing exercises and really just like calming myself down because I really needed that. Like I really needed that. So I believe it was in March that I had finally heard from the school that I go to currently, and I had gotten to a conditional program. So it wasn't a straight acceptance, it was a half acceptance, really. Um, and at first I was frustrated when I should have been more grateful. And like looking back and reflecting on that, I'm like, why wasn't I more grateful for a conditional program when I had heard no's consistently? And then, I mean, like at that point, I really just needed a victory, but I didn't fully see it as a victory until I was actually in that program. But the thing is, it started in June, and of course we were in COVID, so I was unsure about the logistics of how the program was going to work and how I would, you know, show that I am, you know, capable of handling the work of a law student, because your LSAT score is supposed to be indicative of how you do in law school. So to, or how admissions would see my LSAT score is like she's not capable of doing law school work. She's not capable of being a law student or an attorney. And that's so sad because that's not true. It has never been true. And within that conditional program, I had to literally prove to my professors in front of me and to admissions that I was capable of the work. So I was put in a group with students who are also in the PBAT program. Um, and we completed the conditional program, and I got my acceptance to North Carolina Central University literally 2 weeks after the program had ended. And that was when I was finally like, oh shoot, I'm in here. Like I am blessed. I'm great. I'm happy to be here at this point, because it's like, wow, I finally got my acceptance. And it literally took me so long to get it that I was just so overwhelmed, but not with that negative energy that I was feeling before, but just with like this positivity. I was like, it feels like I'm finally getting a chance to be who I've wanted to be for so long, but it took so long for me to get here. And I just needed to debunk that myth of why or how people just assume that because I'm a good student and because I'm so community oriented, that it was just so easy for me to get here. Like, no, 19 rejections isn't easy to just face. It's not something that you can just, you know, like overcome like this. But I wanted, or what I'm here today to say is that it can be, and it's possible. And that it's, you know what, those 19 rejections, they have honestly made me stronger. I would have appreciated not having them. Like, don't get me wrong. However, they've made me a different person. They've made me more grateful for this journey, for this law school journey. And now that I'm in my second semester of law school, like I've made it in a way, you know, and at first it just didn't feel attainable. So it's just like, I'm here now. It's a different feeling, but it took so long for me to overcome. But it's possible. So when people were assuming based on my 142 LSAT score that I wasn't going to be able to, handle the work of a law student, that was completely wrong. I finessed my first semester. I really did. I have internships this summer with a district attorney's office. I want to be a criminal defense attorney, but it's always good to know how the opposing party is going to discuss the action, how, the pretty much what their thought processes are before, you or how to conduct your case based on the opposing party and that knowledge. And I also I'm doing a split summer, so I'm going to be working at the North Carolina Department of Justice for their education section. So it's like, never sleep on yourself, honestly, because I was really sleeping on myself. And that is when I started to lose all faith and hope within my journey. And it's just like, why would I ever do that? And you should never do that, to be honest, because if you begin to, I started applying for graduate programs because I didn't think that law school was attainable. And it's just like, okay, that would have been great. You know what? I'm really passionate also within other subjects that I could pursue, but I've always wanted to be a law student. Why would you ever stray from where you want to actually be? That doesn't, my mom, she always discusses how you should never have a plan B, because then that's giving you an out for your plan A. And that is so true. I had a plan B. I was creating a plan B for myself of going to graduate school. And that would have still been an excellent accomplishment. However, that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to go to law school. I want to be an attorney. I want to be a criminal defense attorney. And I allowed myself that out so that way, if I became disappointed with this last chance that I had, all right, well, at least I'm doing something, like, good job, Zara. But no, like, you're still going to be sad at the end of the day because you didn't pursue what you really wanted to do. That doesn't make sense. That's not how you should be living your life, by choosing constant plan Bs. That you need to try harder. You need to stop sleeping on yourself. You need to have faith in your journey and in yourself, because if you don't, how are you going to persuade someone else to? So it's just like, I'm actually speaking today specifically to this one woman who consistently inspires me from her journey in her life. And she's had so much impact within my life and how I hold myself accountable, how I handle myself as a woman with such confidence. And I heard her recently say how she doesn't believe that she's smart enough to be a law student. A woman who I look up to, who I love, who encourages me just by walking this earth, just told me that she doesn't believe that she's smart enough to be a law student. No, you can't. No, you need to have faith in yourself. If this is something that you truly want, it's attainable for you. All you have to do is just continue to try, because having someone say no to you, okay, whatever. But that is only one person's decision. That's only one school's decision. There are so many other schools out here. Okay, you know what? Harvard didn't want you, try Yale. Howard didn't want you, try Florida A&M. Like, there are so many other options out here. And it's just like, you should never tell yourself that you shouldn't do something because you face that first rejection. And that's what I've had to learn, from this journey so far. And it's just like, to hear someone that I look up to so much say that I was sad, but I also had to laugh, because I'm like, girl, you know that you are more than capable of handling the course load, the work. You have, this passion, and you are following your purpose, but you've been led astray, and that you need to get back on. You need to get back on the path. And it's just like, I understand that it can be extremely hard, and it can be discouraging to constantly hear no, or to constantly even tell yourself that you're not capable of doing it. But honestly, even when you feel like that, you need to tell yourself otherwise, because it's just like, if you are the only person who's going to be telling, or if you're telling yourself, you know what, I can't do it, well, then you're not going to do it. That doesn't make sense. You should always consistently encourage yourself, no matter what obstacles you're facing, to constantly just push yourself, and knowing that if you truly want something, you have to continue, because that's the only way that you can go. So that is pretty much my law school journey within getting into law school, and a little bit of what I've faced. But then I also want to talk about the importance of paying it forward, because there are so many other Black women, Black men, potential law students, potential doctors, potential anything that anyone wants to be. And if you have this knowledge, if your cup is full, you should always pour into others, because that's how we should be living our lives. Everything shouldn't just be for the purpose of maybe getting some money. I understand the need for survival. It's completely understandable. We all got to survive in this world. However, if you see someone struggling and you aren't struggling yourself, it doesn't really make sense for you to not try to help someone else out. Because when I was in my struggle, I had so many people help me. And I didn't just, get onto or get to where I am today from me, only from me. That it takes a village. It has always taken a village. So I've had my aunts who really just like accumulated parts of their personalities and just put it into me. And my grandmother's like, I'm a big book reader. I love art and culture. The first person to put me on to my favorite author, James Baldwin, was my Aunt Marcella. And it's just like, oh my gosh, I love James Baldwin. He's my favorite. And it's just the fact that you never really know the impact that you can have on someone just from putting them onto the little things that you know about this life. So what I've been doing, I actually have two Black women, and I'm very excited for their lives because they are on the journey of potentially applying to law school. And what I've been doing is like, if I have a little contracts class or a little civ pro class, like what I'll do is just like have them maybe on the phone, like to the side. And it's just like, just so they can hear how, the class works, what you need to do to really just be prepared for civil procedure class, because if I have this opportunity, if I'm able to teach them about all of the things that I've been through and how they can improve, they can become marvelous people within this world, or they can become even more marvelous than they already are. And all I want to do is just emphasize the importance of, just tapping back into other people, because you really never know, your impact and what you can do to just enhance someone else's life. And also just give them the opportunity to be heard, to be listened to, because a lot of people don't get that. So I hope that this encouraged someone, because
yes. You are so beautiful. I love it. I love it. Now, before I say my comments, could you please just pronounce your name for me, because I don't want to mispronounce it.
It's okay. Azariah McLymore.
Azariah. So Azariah, listen, girl, I don't know if you know this, but you are so beautiful inside and out. And I know I just met you today, but I am so proud of you, not only for persevering, as a young individual, and not only as a young woman, but a young Black woman. And whoever told you that your journey should have been easy and they're surprised that it was a little tough, even without you telling me that you got 19 rejections and how hard that was, you being a Black woman trying to be in and study any type of law in this country, it's an uphill climb. So I want to commend you for just continuing to do that, besides, what may come in the future and what you've been through. Like that, already taking on that journey is something that should be commended. And your testimony of your journey is like a loaded testimony. Like I have so many things I can pull from it that you can inspire, that you have inspired people with. But another thing I just do not like, testing that you have to take to get into something, because that never really encompasses who the person is altogether, So one, I commend you for not giving up when you're like, you know what, the score is not what they say it needs to be, because that doesn't mean that you're not smart enough. It doesn't mean that you can't do it. And if you want to actually just look at the history of this country and the leadership of this country, we've had presidents who've had C and D grades, and when you're running the entire United States. You have people who are millionaires and billionaires who are dropouts in high school, that did not do what society says that we should do. So one, I'm very happy that you saw that, you know what, I'm smart. I got this. I don't have to listen to them. And I'm so happy you didn't give up. Because that pressure, that, trust me, I know of trying to be in a field that wasn't made for you is very, very difficult. And you are flying, to me, with, I don't know what you have to go through with your struggles in schooling now, but you're acing through with flying colors. And if you're struggling and doing whatever, listen, we can't tell, which is probably why some people are like, oh, I'm surprised you had to struggle, because you're handling it with such grace, which also shows me that this is something you're made to do. And I'm just so happy that you've gone after your passion. If you have it in your heart, like your mom said, that plan B wasn't for you, because if you have in your heart, you know what, I want to be a lawyer. Don't dumb it down. Don't dumb yourself down and settle for less, because you deserve way more than that. And that's what you did. You said, you know what, I'm going to keep going. And those 19 rejections, it just put you where you're supposed to be. That's all. It just put you exactly where you're supposed to be. So even if you have any other hills to climb, I don't even want to call them struggles. We have some hills to climb, which means this is a little bit harder than, most people. Remember this. Remember that despite other people's opinions that you may not be good enough, you may not be a good fit, that, hey, God's got my back. I'm where I'm supposed to be. I know I deserve to be here. And I'm amazing inside and out. Sometimes you just got to let people know, like, listen, honey, I'm smart. I'm amazing inside and out. And if you can't see that, I feel bad for you, because when you want to jump on my bandwagon later, I'm like, wait a minute, don't do it. So what would you say, let's say someone's going someone's in your position and they want to do whatever, it may not be a lawyer, they want to be a doctor or a writer or anything, and they're like, you know what, if you could just give me just a quick little saying or something that I can tell myself every day when things get a little rough, like, what can I think of? Like, because one thing I have to tell myself, because my main field is architecture. And, architecture definitely wasn't made for women, let alone a Black woman. So I have to tell myself, like, listen, I can do this. I've wanted to do this forever. This is what I am made to do. I am here because I'm supposed to be here. And if something is not attainable for me right now, it doesn't mean I'm not going to get it. It just means I'm not ready for it. So do you have anything that maybe you say to yourself that motivates you that you can tell other people?
Yes, I actually have two. I love the Frederick Douglass quote where it's like, or where he stated, if there is no struggle, there's no progress. And that's actually what I had to keep telling myself. Even right now, when I'm studying for finals and I'm trying to understand, how procedurally the court will work, I'm like, this isn't clicking automatically. What's going on? But I just go to the office hours. I'm like, if there is no struggle, there is no progress. And if I also just become so much more grateful after I've gone through all of the things that I have, just to be able to be where I am today. So there's that. But also what always encourages me is Solange, her album is titled, or one of her albums is titled A Seat at the Table. But what I've told myself is I will create my own table. That is what I'm going to do moving forward. I don't want to sit at your table. I'm going to create my own lane, my own path in what I want to do, because y'all table is cool, but mine could be better.
And I love that. I love that. And you know what? We need people like you to create a different table. And just how you said, you like to reach back and help other people. That table that you create, it's just, you're bringing other people to, like, no, it's okay. They don't want you at that table. We got you over here. We got you over here. And you're creating a lane, not only for yourself, but for people who strive to go in the path that you're going. And one thing my sister has always said, like, before she passed away, she always said, listen, no matter what you want to do, if someone else is doing it, that's fine. Don't compare yourself. And always remember to share your knowledge, share, your experiences, and don't be afraid to help the next person be who they're supposed to be, because you have your own lane, and what you do and the success that you make, it's not going to change if you're bringing somebody else up. A lot of people, especially in our culture, we have like the whole crab in the barrel syndrome. No. She wants to be a lawyer. Her helping you be a lawyer is not going to deter you from your path, right? It's not taking anything away from you, because you're still you. So that's one thing I love. You're amazing. Erin, do you have, your comments you'd like to say?
My favorite comment is don't sleep on yourself. Like, that's just it. You never sleep on yourself at all, because you are greater than what you're going. Yes, I love that. Thank you so much for sharing today, because we really needed it. And some of our young adults, we need that too, to never sleep on ourselves, but still, push forward. Even though struggles is placed in front of us, we still need to push forward, because we're going to get there, even if we have to prepare the table ourselves.
Yes. Right. Oh my goodness.
Thank you.
Right.
Sharon, for everyone else, thank you for tuning in today. Please do not forget to like, comment, share on Facebook, and also subscribe to our channel. And please tune in tomorrow. We have a guest tomorrow, and don't worry, they will be awesome as well. But again, don't forget to share, comment, like, subscribe. Thank you again for sharing. We see everyone. Enjoy your Saturday and stay safe. Bye.